Why do some honey labels say do not feed honey to infants? What about honey that
Makes people go crazy.
Have you heard about that?
What?
We got a subject we're going to share with you today that many of you have probably run across, and I got asked this question on a YouTube video a few days ago, Sherry, and I thought it'd be good for us to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that is, why do some honey labels say do not feed honey to infants? Now, what is it about infants? I mean, look, we talk about honey being good for you, it's the antibacterial effect.
Loaded full of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants.
That's what people say, yeah. And so they say it's really good for you, it's an alternative to sugar, it's a healthy product.
Why wouldn't it be okay for a baby?
It seems like you would want to start your baby on that.
Right, exactly. Put it in some yogurt or I don't know what. A lot of different things would be really cool. You'd think it would be a really good thing.
And you think the baby would grow up to be like Superman or something. It's
That's right.
Wow, your child is so strong and tall. What did you do? I fed him honey. I fed him honey when they were little. But apparently you can't do that.
No.
It's very, very dangerous. And by the way, let's go ahead and say that we're not doctors. And so we're just sharing research with you.
Do your own research.
That's right.
Don't listen to us. Do your own research.
Talk to your physician. We are not giving medical advice. So got that out of the way.
But you know, it's on labels.
It is on the labels.
If you picked up a jar of, I think, raw honey, maybe not pasteurized honey, but I think if you pick up raw honey, it will actually say on there, do not feed to infants. What, under 12 months?
I think it usually says under 12 months.
Under 12 months.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, it's not that hard to figure out. First of all, honey is hygroscopic. Not hydroscopic, but hygroscopic. That means honey exposed to air is going to absorb moisture.
Right.
And so what happens is that, and it's not as common as you might think, but it's possible. That's why we're talking about it. So spores of Clostridium bacterium can actually be in the air, and it can get into honey, and once it's into honey,
like yeast in the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
That spore can actually be in honey.
Okay.
And so it's just sitting there in this sugar-saturated honey, right? A small amount of just a spore that you can't see, of course. Now, when a baby, up until the age of maybe 12 months old, certainly the first few months that a baby is born and it begins to develop, the first few months, its digestive system, where a lot of our immune system is found, is not fully developed yet.
Okay.
And so if a child were to eat that honey with Clostridium bacterium in it, and they would ingest it, then that spore could become toxic. It would go from a spore to start creating toxins, and those toxins could rapidly get into the baby's body, bloodstream, and everything. And it's hard. It's very dangerous. This is, in fact, this is a very dangerous bacteria. Although it's found in dust.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it everywhere?
I know.
Isn't it in the dirt?
It's in dirt.
And, well, gosh, I guess anytime you would dust or vacuum or anything like that, wouldn't you be
absolutely
throwing up the spores?
And actually, some studies show that you can find a ton of it in the vacuum cleaner dust.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. All adults that have a normal immune system, this isn't going to have any effect on us at all. And so it's not like honey is just packed full of it, right? Some of the studies that they did, they only found, of all these samples, just a small amount of honey sampling that they did had the spores in it. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. It's in dirt. Our kids play in the dirt. I mean, when we raised our children, they were always putting stuff in their mouth.
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
All the time.
Crawling on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, crawling outside in the dirt. They were doing everything like that.
Yeah.
But so why is it that we tell people not to eat honey, but we don't say, keep your kids off the dirt?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, there's just some things you can't do like that. You know?
But
you can slap a label on a honey jar, but you can't slap a label on the ground and say, don't let your child crawl on this.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because up until about 1978, we didn't really have any kind of information out there like this. We didn't really talk about honey being dangerous to young babies. And
Oh,
around
has it been that recent?
1978,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
So in 78, that's when they began to do more research, and it began to be something that people talked about and eventually found itself on labels.
Okay.
And, but, you know, I've never liked vacuum dust at all. I'm serious. I'm serious.
What does that mean?
Well, the dust that's collected in a vacuum bag,
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh, I view that as very dangerous. I'm not a germaphobe at all, but I view that dust as extremely dangerous
Okay.
to breathe.
Okay. Oh,
Well, I was going to
sure.
say, if you have
Sure.
a compromised immune system, even as an adult, you could breathe that bacterium in, Clostridium, and actually it could affect your lungs.
So can I stop vacuuming the carpet?
No, just do it when I'm not home. The bags are really good now. I mean, they will stop all that from blowing out into your house.
They do have
But
those
I'm talking about
cool
when I
things.
take the bag off and that just dust goes everywhere. So I don't breathe when I hold my breath when I'm taking the bag out. And then I'll carry it and throw it in the trash
Okay.
and everything. I feel
Okay.
better about that.
Okay. All right. Well, back to the honey. Why don't we just pasteurize our honey? Wouldn't that take care of it?
Oh, no, because pasteurizing, well, first of all, you know, we feel that when you pasteurize honey, that you're not really doing anything more than just killing all the nice stuff that's in there or denaturing, whatever you want to call it. It's just like destroying those nice things that we want to eat, right?
It kills the beneficial enzymes
It
when
does,
you heat it up.
yeah.
It doesn't really do anything to the vitamins and those kinds of things. But
That's
the really
right.
beneficial things that you're looking for, heat will.
Yeah. Also, that spore of Clostridium bacterium it takes, you'd have to boil it for like 3 minutes at 250 degrees to kill the spore. Now you can kill
Okay.
I think you can kill the toxin at lesser temperatures, but
So you're saying we'd have to boil honey
yeah,
for that long
yeah, I think
in order to kill
I think
it?
when you pasteurize honey, it doesn't get near to the temperature that you would need to kill the spore.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's going to work. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think it works that way.
And so by the time you did that, you would essentially probably completely change the taste of it.
Oh,
it
definitely.
probably wouldn't even.
Oh, yeah.
It would
It's
probably
not worth
taste
it. Right.
caramely. I don't know what it would taste like.
Yeah.
And you would get rid of all the beneficial enzymes. So
Exactly.
there's-
I don't suggest
nobody does that.
Nobody does that at
does
all. So the idea, you know, we talk about this a lot when we teach classes. People always ask us that question.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, what
It's
about
scary to think about.
Christian's our youngest. Did
Mm-hmm.
we ever feed honey to Christian? Did we wait and say, "Hey, it's your 12th month birthday. You can have
Here's a
honey."
birthday cake made out of honey. Oh, which reminds me, I bake with it constantly. Will that kill it? I bake cookies, I
It
bake
should.
breads, I bake
Oh, yeah,
cakes.
it should.
And I feed them to all the grandchildren.
Yeah, I read where if you heat it to 250 degrees now, I think that was boiling. I don't know what that means, but it seems like that at that temperature it would work. I don't know. Don't quote me on that either. That's something you may not want to mess with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait and give the babies the cookies and the cakes
when they get older.
They probably don't need it anyway.
I know. Yeah, so the best way to think about it is that there's a potential that there could be the spore of this bacterium in honey and not really do anything. It can't really grow and release toxins in that saturated sugar compound. But then once the baby ingests it and eats it, then the baby's immune system, digestive tract is not fully developed yet. And that's when it can't handle the toxins that it produces. If me and you, we eat it, you know, no effect. It just goes, our body destroys any toxins at all. Which brings me to another subject, Sherry.
Ooh, what's that?
What about honey that makes people go crazy? Have you heard about that?
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
There's certain honeys, and that you might remember us talking about this, but there's certain honeys that if you eat it will make you lose your mind and go berserko. Rhododendron.
Oh.
Rhododendron honey has been said if you eat it will make you go crazy. And I've gotten phone calls from people saying, "Oh my gosh, I got rhododendrons in my yard. Am I going to die? I don't want to sell my honey if it's got rhododendron in it."
Yeah, what do you say?
You know, I believe that is substantiated, that it can affect your neurological.
Is that your problem?
It is.
It is.
Hey, well, do we have those around here?
In town, we do. There
Oh.
are a few. There are a few little bushes. It's not like I've ever seen yards or acres full of them or anything like that. It would take a lot.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, because I talked to one of my friends that's a botanist about this, and he said, David, there are not enough of those around in large numbers that the bees could go out and, where I live anyway, and have enough honey that would affect me. There's just not enough of those around, so it gets diluted or mixed in with all the other honeys.
So you just go a little crazy.
I just go a little crazy. Yeah. Oh, we're giving honey a bad name.
We are.
Man, now you're going to go crazy if you eat the wrong kind of honey.
And the baby's going to get sick.
Baby's going to get sick, can't feed it. And then I put it in my coffee this morning, and it tastes really good.
But the fact is, it is one of our cleanest food products that there are. I mean, we all know that we could eat virtually anything has chemicals on it. That's
a good point.
That has not been handled correctly, and so it's the people handling it are not that hygienic. We know that. We know that in our food supply, unless you go out there and do it yourself. Yeah. And you can pretty much know what's happened to it. That can happen to any of us at any time with any kind of product.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot of children actually get this bacterium from, get this, milk.
Oh, really?
Milk that's been contaminated.
Okay.
It's very, very, more cases probably
you
from
just
milk.
Don't know.
I know.
You just don't know.
Oh, and don't you remember, Sherry, when we had our first child, every child had a pacifier to calm them down. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we were new parents, and so our child would have a pacifier. We would drop it on the ground accidentally, and we would pick it up and boil it for
That's
30 minutes.
Really, really clean it.
Well, the second child came along, and we would just, pick the pacifier up and rinse it underneath the sink, rinse it off really good.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
When the third child came along, we would just pick the pacifier up and wipe it on our jeans.
Or so you did, apparently.
It had all that Clostridium bacterium on it, but I just wiped it on the jeans, stuck it back in. And the fourth child just picked it up and put it back in. Didn't even wipe it off. But
there is something to be said, though, about being a little bit too sanitary in day-to-day life.
Well, when the child is fully developed, its immune system is fully developed. That's correct. Right. Yeah, I mean, you want to wait until they are able. I wonder if children, up until, I think it's more about 1 to 2 to 3 months, 4 months, it's more sensitive. But I wonder I think 12 months is a safeguard. But those first few months, kids aren't on the floor. They're not really. No. Are they?
No.
They're so young, you're holding them and you're keeping them in a safer environment.
That's true.
Yeah. But boy, when they get a little bit crawling around, when do babies start crawling? How old are they?
Oh, 4, 5, 6 months.
Oh,
I don't remember. Our kids just took off walking, took off running.
They did. Come back.
Run away from mom and dad. We need out of here.
And they're still running.
They're insane.
We've got some winter bee kinds to ship. Can you come out and help us? And they're still running. Why is that?
I don't know.
All you need to do is box up things, No, we're running. Well, okay, Sherry, what's your plans today? You got a lot going on?
I do. I have to get my truck fixed, and then I'm going to our sporting event tonight. So, yeah, I've got a lot to do today.
Right. We do have that tonight. That's cool. What's wrong with your truck?
I have no idea, but it shimmies and shakes when I drive it.
Wow. Okay.
I want him to make it stop.
Okay. Maybe the tires need balance.
Well, we live down a country road.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just nothing but potholes. And
yeah.
Sometimes I just hit those potholes like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, exactly. That's probably what it is. You lose a little lead weight on your tire maybe or something. Yeah.
I just need to balance it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make a video today.
Okay.
I'm going to edit this video and get it posted. Sherry, do you realize I've been doing YouTube videos on beekeeping for a long time? Since 2008, I think, or 2006, whenever YouTube first came out. I mean, I was there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and a lot of people are watching me for the first time, and they don't realize I've got
years worth.
I know they keep asking me, why don't you do a YouTube video on inner covers?
We have.
My number one thing is when they watch me work a hive, why you don't use inner covers? Why don't you use inner covers? Every single video that I make, someone will say, why don't you use inner covers? And those of you that are following me, every time you see somebody ask that, you're probably going, oh, they're asking him again. I've made a YouTube video on this. I decided if I made a YouTube video on why I don't use inner covers, people would not ask that question anymore. But then somebody will watch this for the first time and think, why didn't he use inner covers, you know? All right, here's the video right here. Point to it, Sherry. No, it's over here. Yeah, like that. This is why I don't use inner covers.